on Solis. That's always been the quiet assignment. Until now, that is.
Claro. Not very quiet these days.
But it was then, especially where I worked.
Waste disposal?
That's not a real division of the Black Hand, no. I was on communications.
No tangos.
No tangos, Thiago. Just a lot of relaying of reports from one coronel to another.
Did you ever get to scream, hostile contact?
No?
How about, you're going to die today, hueputa?
No, not that either.
I am going to hang you by your entrails, huevon!
Qué disgusting, no.
I think you missed the point of joining, Santiago.
Actually, Thiago, I joined to get training from one of the most technically advanced military forces on the planet.
But you didn't even leave the country. Let's leave the elimination of tangos aside for one moment. I know for a fact that the Black Hand also do some really good disaster relief work in other countries as well. We've seen the footage of them all over the world, from other parts of South America to Southeast Asia to Africa, helping citizens rebuild after countless disasters.
So I have seen that footage.
So you didn't do any of that kind of service either?
No, I did not.
And then you left the service after one tour and then ended up doing radio. Buen trabajo.
It's easier work than most, Thiago.
At least you got to wear one of those cool masks. Por favor, Santiago, tell me you wore one of those masks.
No, I did not. Back when I served, the Black Hand did not wear masks when they were stationed in Solis.
You were the worst Black Hand.
Wearing masks at home? This is a relatively new development, and one that I find a little disturbing.
I think they make people look pretty tough.
Claro, but why would a Black Hand soldier need to hide his face here on Solis? What are they doing that they need to hide their identities?
Probably just something they got used to do when they were overseas. They didn't want to have their faces known while they were doing all of that good work. Sort of like giving to charity anonymously.
Yeah. I just think it's unfortunate how things are now. Seeing a Black Hand in Solis used to be a thing of comfort for a lot of people. When I used to be on patrol, the people I met actually knew my name and knew that I was there to help them. Now, all they see is the masks.
Wow, Santiago, that's quite an interesting opinion. I did not know that you were such a traitor.
Ay, por favor, Thiago.
No. Let's all assume that the Black Hand are out there to get us and would kill us without any hesitation.
I am not saying that.
Oh, the Black Hand are so scary. They're going to pick me up off the streets and lock me up for doing nothing.
We've actually all heard these stories.
You know, Santiago, I've never had a problem with the Black Hand. And you know why that is? Because I am a law-abiding citizen of Solis. And as long as you are too, you have nothing to worry about. And you used to be one of them too, huh?
I am very happy that we had a chance to have this important discussion about the careful balance that a nation must strike between the need for individual freedom and the need for security.
I can't believe you.
We'll be back with more of the Thiago and Santiago show. Don't give me that look, Rafael. See, I'm sending us to break for once. Rafael, hágale!
Traitor.
Oye. I think I just heard the entire nation of Solis get dumber.
This is the Thiago and Santiago show.
You've had a long and productive day at the factory. You arrive back at your house only to have a spouse that yells at you and children that need constant attention. All you want to do is be treated with respect, so you open a delicious bottle of Vina La Gema. Vina La Gema is a libation of choice for the wealthy at a reasonable price. You may not be able to afford a palace, but you can still drink like royalty. Vina La Gema.
On the next Jóvenes y Bellos, there's bound to be trouble in paradise.
I am so happy to finally be free of my husband.
I as well, mi amor.
I haven't gone anywhere, amorcito.
Gustavo!
All that and more, next week on Jóvenes y Bellos.
Well, there goes another sponsor.
That one was your fault.
You're listening to Thiago and Santiago.
More Thiago and Santiago here.
Thiago, you've mentioned many times about how you're a big fan of the TV show Diego El Santo. Just in case there are any people left in Solis that have not seen the show, why don't you talk about it for a little bit?
Oh, that would make me so happy. I could talk about that show all day.
And you do, off the air, never stopping, even when no one in the room appears to be listening.
Pues, the show takes place 500 years ago. West Solis was a beautiful, wild, untamed land.
Not the homogenized pinnacle of human civilization that it is today.
Shh, Chito. Diego El Santo time is Thiago time.
Thiago time?
Where was I?
Untamed.
Sí, bien. Solís was an untamed land where until the intrepid adventurer known as Diego Espinosa de Malaga arrived on our shores, no man had set foot before.
Except for the people that already live here.
I mean, see, except for those people. So this is the land that Diego El Santo comes to, and it's the first shot of the show. A conquistador's boat plunges into the sand of Asolino Beach. We come around and we tilt up to see what I can objectively say is the handsomest man I ever laid eyes on. No offense to you or anyone else at the show, Santiago.
None taken.
And this man is Diego El Santo.
Eso. Is that historically accurate?
What?
Was Diego Espinosa de Malaga a handsome man?
I don't know. Who cares? The point is that this man is, as well as being a skilled marksman and fighter.
Claro.
I can't believe you don't watch this show, Santiago.
As I've said before, I'm more of a reader. You were saying that the show starts with the debut of an attractive gentleman. What happens after that?
Just watch the show, okay? He meets some of the local people.
That must be the Cacha tribe.
See, the Cacha. And these are some pretty tough individuals. You can tell by just looking at them. But over the course of the first season, Diego uses his charisma and his intellect and his fighting skills to show the Cacha that the Espinosas are people that you want as your friends. See or no?
So they become allies?
Well, I don't want to spoil the show, but yes. And then he helps the Cacha by starting a civil war within the rival tribe, the Aipa, causing a faction of them to rebel against their evil king named Otorongo. And I've already said too much. There's still people who are catching up on the show, unlike you, Santiago, and I don't want to ruin it for them.
Bien, I'm sure they all appreciate that. So is it safe to say you are one of the bigger fans of the show, Diego El Santo?
I think I'm probably the biggest fan ever.
Well, you're going to like the surprise we have for you today then. Because on the phone,
You're kidding me.
we have
I cannot believe it.
the actor that plays Diego Espinosa de Malaga himself, Jacobo Rojas.
Buenas, Thiago and Santiago.
Is this really him? Is this really you, Jacobo?
Sí, it's me, Thiago.
It sounds like him.
No one is tricking you, Thiago. It's him.
Dios mío, I have so many things I want to tell you and ask you.
I heard some of them already.
You did? Well, good. I'm not ashamed of anything I said. Being question one, how did you go about approaching the role of such a great historical figure as Diego Espinosa?
Pues, I felt a real responsibility to be true to the role. This was a flesh and blood human being we are talking about. And an ancestor to one of the most influential, powerful men of this century, Oscar Espinosa. It was very important that I get the performance just right.
I think you're doing an amazing job. So, are you on the set right now?
We are.
And what's going to be happening on the next season of Diego El Santo? It seems like the Espinosas have pretty much eliminated all of their threats. The Cacha and the Aipa tribes have been united.
Hey, what happened to no spoilers?
And the bloodthirsty war chief named Otorongo has been killed.
The most dangerous work is still ahead, Thiago. The indigenous tribes may have been united, but they are still not part of the colonies yet. And there are dangerous factions within each tribe that do not appreciate the benevolence of Diego's rule.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be very, very exciting. I cannot wait to see it. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions that aren't about the next season?
Claro. It would be nice to talk about something else for a change.
Do you do all of your own stunts? Because Diego Espinosa has some pretty intense action scenes where he's defending his people from an onslaught of angry tribesmen or putting down some insidious mutinies in his ranks.
I do. I do perform most of my own stunts. I train very hard to try to make the action look as real as possible.
Oh, it looks real. Another question. Do you ever hang out with Oscar Espinosa, for research purposes?
No. Oscar Espinosa is a very busy man, and the people we are portraying have been dead for hundreds of years, so
If you do, could you ask him about Project Illapa? Because Santiago keeps bothering me about that thing.
No. I probably won't do that.
Bien. Another question. You have had a lot of romantic scenes with various cast members over the years. Who was your favorite for those? Fernanda, Regina, Catalina, and did they lead to any real life intimacy? Were you actually naked in those scenes?
They're actually telling me I have to go now. Gracias, Thiago. Gracias, Santiago. I hope you all enjoy the next season of Diego El Santo when it comes out next year. Adios, parceros.
Cuídate, mi gran amigo.
Qué bien. Very professional, Thiago.
got a little nervous.
That was one of your worst interviews yet. And that is quite an achievement.
I shut your mouth, Santiago. Nobody likes you. We'll be back with more Thiago and Santiago show.
I am the smartest man alive. Your entire knowledge base is internet memes.
It's Thiago and Santiago.
Need to find some place to eat? Need to be able to bring the whole family? Need it to be kind of noisy? El Rancho Viejo has all of what you're looking for. We've got arepas and empanadas and more. We have the most delicious and authentic traditional Solino cuisine that you can find anywhere, and we serve it fast. It's like going to visit your abuela, except that you'll be in and out of the building in less than 5 minutes. Come down to El Rancho Viejo.
On the next Jóvenes y Bellos, a family affair.
Let us go to the amusement park, mi amor.
I wish I could, but I cannot ride the roller coaster. I'm pregnant.
But how can that be? I've been sterile since the mining accident.
I know, mi amor. You are not the father.
But I am.
Gustavo!
All that and more next week on Jóvenes y Bellos. Thiago and Santiago.
It's ridiculous.
Please fire us.
Thiago and Santiago. Now, with 250% even more attitude.
Now, Santiago, it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show.
Your retirement.
Oh, very, very funny. You still have it, parce. I don't care what Rafael says behind your back.
Tu, Rafael.
No, the segment it's called Solis Hoy, where we talk about all the strange but true news stories that are sent to us from listeners around Solis.
I do enjoy this. Okay, I'll go first. Bien, we have an email from one of our regular listeners, Esteban from Cuya. He's telling us that a helicopter crashed near where he works at the lumber mill in the rainforest.
I didn't hear any reports of a Black Hand training accident.
That's probably because this helicopter did not have Black Hand markings.
That is very strange.
And because Esteban is one of our best fans and always wants to give us the best information, he went up to the crash site and saw that the Black Hand were all over the down helicopter, investigating it.
I mean, that makes sense.
See? And when they saw our amigo Esteban snooping around, they told him to leave, and of course he did right away.
That also makes sense.
Still, a very interesting news story.
Hopefully, we'll get some more information on that one. What is next?
Let's go to the phones with Andres. You're on the Thiago and Santiago show. You wanted to talk about Mina Vendaval?
See, I've been a miner at Mina Vendaval for over 20 years. I was there during the last incident with the tornado, before the wind cannons got put in place.
Yeah, that was another awful chapter in Solis history, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. But now we have the wind cannons installed there, and that's one problem we no longer have to worry about anymore.
See, that's the interesting thing, though, and I don't know if I should be talking about this, but did you know that they were already starting to build them before the tornado came through?
What are you saying, Andres? They were trying to protect Mina Vendaval from a tornado because they somehow knew that a tornado was going to pass through the mine? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, Andres. Andres? Oye, Rafael, did you hang up on Andres? I was just starting to talk to him.
Bien. Andres, call back if you can, okay? Moving to everyone's favorite topic of conversation, traffic. Do you know what's going on by the hotels downtown this week? Because I couldn't get anywhere in my car yesterday.
See, I'm hearing that we have an important visitor in Solis this week, a General Bernardo Torres. The good general is from a nearby South American country, and is reportedly a very good customer of Grupo Prospero.
Ah, so he is a supporter of the Solino economy. Bien. He can cause all of the traffic he wants as long as he's providing jobs for the people of Solis.
That is nice. But I don't know how many tanks and guns we should be selling to leaders with a human rights record like El General.
Yeah, I won't tell a man how to live his best life, Santiago. What else is happening?
Okay, we've been getting a lot of calls and emails about an American film crew somewhere in Solis.
I still haven't seen them.
Esto, I don't think they have an official filming permit from the Solino Film Association.
No, probably not. Illegal film production is a very good way to get on the wrong side of the Black Hand.
See, but the stories I'm hearing about these people, though, cars speeding through towns, men and women performing death-defying stunts off of rooftops. It may be illegal, but I wouldn't mind seeing the final product.
I'm sure these Americans will have a very nice screening in a Solino prison after they arrest it.
Which brings me to my next story.
What is it? Wait. Oh, no, Santiago. Please do not bring this up again. You are really starting to embarrass yourself by now.
What do you mean? We have a responsibility to bring our listeners all of the strange news that we hear. It is our duty as members of the media.
We are not journalists, Santiago. We tell silly jokes and stories so that people can get from one place to the other without getting bored. And even then, the segment is for strange but true stories, not wild conspiracy theories.
One of our listeners, whose identity I will not reveal for their own safety,
Dios mío.
they emailed the show and said they heard Black Hand outside of their apartment building one night last week.
Okay.
Then, the next morning, they went next door to say hello to their neighbor, and no one was there.
Because they have a job.
And the neighbor hasn't come back since. And it was over a week ago.
Santiago, it really is too bad that you get tricked into believing these crazy stories. I almost feel like our listeners are having fun with you at this point.
This is not the first we heard of these disappearances, eh? They don't happen all the time, claro. But we've heard about them before.
Which is why some of our more troublesome listeners like to feed you these little lies, because they know you'll read them on air.
You know what these stories make me think of?
Don't say it, por favor.
La Mazmorra.
You said it.
Yes, I did.
Parcero, La Mazmorra is a ghost story. It is something parents tell their teenage children about to get them to come home before bedtime on a school night. There is no secret location that the boogeyman whisks people away to in the middle of the night.
I'm just reporting the news.
That is not the news, Santiago, and you are making a fool out of yourself.
You're probably right. Still, it's fun to talk about.
Until someone thinks you know too much and steals you away to La Mazmorra.
I think you are your own biggest fan, Thiago.
And I think that's a very healthy attitude for me to have, Santiago.
Yeah, let's step aside for a little, eh?
Sí, buena idea. It's the Thiago and Santiago show.
Isn't it amazing that we are using state-of-the-art technology to bring that noise to listeners all over Solis?
Yes, they get paid to do this. It's the